Welcome to the TUE Brew Review. This week we are checking out Zwickel from Urban Chestnut Brewing Company out of St. Louis, Missouri. So made in the shadows of the mighty Anheuser-Busch. So Zwickel beer. So this beer style is more of a kind of a warm weather seasonal, but it's kind of interesting that they've actually made this. We're here in the kind of the throes of deep into the fall season here in the Midwest. So it's kind of interesting that you'll see this beer, which was, I did check the date on this before I bought it. It's less than a month old. So it was recently made, and you kind of have to be careful about that. You might see some summer seasonals, like wheat beers, Zwickels, and so forth. You might still see them on the shelves. Definitely double check the packaging dates on them. And if they were made earlier in the spring, probably best to avoid them. But again, this was made more recently, so the flavors in this should be pretty fresh. So Zwickel, this is basically an unfiltered wheat beer. Zwickel is the German name for the thing on the fermentation tank, the valve. Thank you. I had a brain cramp there. So the valve on the fermentation tank, that's where the brewer often siphons off a little bit of the fresh beer just to check on its progress. So this style is meant to be packaged fresh, raw, unfiltered. Man, there for a moment I kind of sounded like Stefan from that Saturday Night Live bit. New York's hottest nightclub is called Zwickel. This place has everything: dweebs, Furbies, babies in Mozart wigs, sunburned drifters with soap-sud beers. So anyway, I digress. Let's get into the beer. All right, so 16-ounce can, Bavarian style lager, 5.1% ABV, and they did have there is a packaging date on the bottom, so I am able to discern when this beer was made. Like I said, it's still relatively fresh. All right, so this beer pours nice, cloudy, gold color. Actually, it's a little more clear than I thought. Usually this beer is, because of the amount of wheat and yeast and the fact that it should be unfiltered, that's actually, it's somewhat cloudy, but it's also semi-transparent. So that's a little bit more translucent than I thought it would be. But you got the brilliant white foamy head. Again, because there's a good percentage of wheat in here, that really helps with the head retention. So very pretty looking beer. Oh man, yeah. Pops with aromatics. Getting the unbaked bread, like raising bread, you get that yeasty smell. Definitely has that coming through. Also getting a lot of the wheat character, and also getting just a little bit of like a citrusy lemon zest, and then also the grassiness of the hops just coming through. So a lot of really perky aromatics in it. Cheers. And the flavor follows. Nice bright flavors. You get the graininess and sweet malt flavors. Definitely getting some of that yeast in there. And again, once again, getting a little touch of kind of a lemon citrus. So man, the flavors really explode. Yeah, again, the citrus really comes through. Little, I don't want to say cloyingly sweet, but it's got a lot of malt sweetness to it, maybe more so than I'm used to for this style. But still getting a good amount of the herbal hops to help offset some of the sweetness. But that definitely the malt and the yeast and the wheat tend to linger a little bit in the finish in a good way. It's very pleasant. Yeah, this thing's got a lot of zippiness to it, a lot of really good flavors. Maybe a little bit on the sweet side, but still, it's very easy to drink. And frankly, it gives kind of a little taste of summer. So there you have it. Zwickel Lager from Urban Chestnut Brewing. Cheers.